So who's the dushman, the enemy Yogi Adityanath refers to? What's the larger message in his comments about the DNA of Babar, Sambhal and anti-Hindu violence in Bangladesh? Is there merit in the Samajwadi Party saying, stop targeting the minorities, stop talking about the DNA, or have your own checked? Joining me on this India First special broadcast is Sharad Trivedi, spokesperson of the BJP. Saira Shah Halim is a leader and activist of the CPIM. Vivek Sailas represents the Samajwadi Party, and Shantanu Gupta is a political analyst. He's also authored a book on Yogi Adityanath. But Sharad Trivedi, to you first, explain Yogi Adityanath's comments on the DNA of Babar's generals, Sambhal, and the recent targeting of Hindus and other minorities in Bangladesh.
Well, the DNA of Babar, the DNA of the Sambhal, those Masoom kids who were throwing stones in Sambhal, as well as of Bangladesh, and those who came on 26/11 and 9/11, they are all the same people. It's the same DNA, the same mentality, the same extremist ideology that they profess, and they have executed it. In Sambhal, this thing happened. It was a very peaceful thing that the court had ordered. It's a routine matter. There are 50 surveys taking place every day in every city. It was a routine matter. The survey would have happened, but the first day the survey happened on 19th. There was no problem. The second survey happened on 24th. On 23rd evening at 6:30, the information was given to all the concerned people, including the local MP, the MLA, as well as the Masjid Committee. Whereas the Masjid Committee should not have been there because it's an archaeological survey of India protected monument. Okay. But they were prepared that they had these masoom and innocent kids came out with a feeding bottle in one hand and stones in another hand and destroyed the entire atmosphere. We had 20 of our best officers who under extreme restraint with the best of training they exemplified. They saved the situation, and these 5 people who died did not die because of any action whatsoever on the part of the police.
Fair enough. Let me bring Saira Shah Halim to respond to this. Saira Shah Halim, you've heard the BJP explanation of the DNA being the same, whether it's Sambhal, whether it's Babar, or the targeting of Hindus in Bangladesh. It's the same radical mindset that the mob in Bangladesh has, that Babar had, that the rioters had in Sambhal.
Okay, so firstly, good evening, Gaurav. Let me just make it very clear that a chief minister's primary job is to foster communal harmony and ensure peace, and not to incite divisions or play identity politics, for electoral gains. Now, Mr. Yogi Adityanath's statement simply fosters communal polarization, and it's right now creating a lot of unnecessary division among communities. And I think, what he resorts to, is rhetoric. And such rhetoric is very dangerous in a diverse society like India that undermines the secular fabric, of the country. Now, why isn't he concentrating, on governance instead of resorting to divisive politics? That's my first question here. He should, I think, concentrate on governance issues, because if you look at Uttar Pradesh, there are a whole host of issues like unemployment, health, education. And I feel the CM right now is trying to distract or trying to divert attention, by resorting to inflammatory and divisive narratives.
Shantanu Gupta, respond. Shantanu Gupta, respond. The comments of the Chief Minister are very clearly aimed, according to Saira Shah Halim, at dividing the society, perhaps for political gains.
See, Gaurav, what Yogi Adityanath, a very popular chief minister, 2-time chief minister, what he made is a very historically valid statement. उन्होंने क्या कहा? 500 साल पहले जो बाबर ने किया था, बांग्लादेश और संभल में आज वही हो रहा है. I'm the verbatim quoting, right? What did Babar did 500 years back? As soon as he entered India, he made 3 mosques. One where he entered in Panipat, one in Sambhal, one in Ayodhya. There was hardly any Muslim population in Ayodhya. There hardly any Muslim population in Sambhal. But he wanted to break temples, the important temples. The Ramka temple, where Kalki Avatar is coming, those temples, right? And similar things are happening in Bangladesh. Bangladesh, they're breaking temples. They're arresting sadhus. Similarly happening in Sambhal. that Harihar temple, you have a mosque over it. They don't allow SI even to come because they are feared. If SI will come inside, they'll find all the murtis inside. So he's making this a historical statement. The way temples were broken by Babur, similar things happening in Bangladesh, a similar thing in Sambhal. It's a very historically valid statement. I don't know what is the problem.
Okay, Vivek Saras, what's the problem? The BJP says, the BJP and of course an author on Yogi Adityanath says, I don't understand the problem. Explain your party MP Ikra Hassan's anger at the UP Chief Minister's comments if he's criticizing Babur or his generals or radical Islamists in Bangladesh. Why should the Samajwadi Party be upset?
No, my point of view is different here, Gauravji, because the situation in Bangladesh is extremely worrying and horrifying and serious, Hindus are being targeted. There are almost 1 crore Hindus in Bangladesh who are very unsafe at the moment, and no one can deny that, not even the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is incredibly horrible, dangerous and threatening, Yes. And instead of, I think Yogi ji ko to Modi ji se ye sawal karna chahiye ki aap विश्व गुरु हैं, 1 करोड़ हिंदू वहां पर खतरे में हैं, आप क्या कर रहे हैं? चाइना में तो आपने कह दिया कि वो बड़ी इकोनॉमी है, हम उनसे नहीं लड़ सकते हैं, लेकिन बांग्लादेश तो छोटी इकोनॉमी है, आप क्यों नहीं उस पे सैंक्शंस लगाते हैं? यू आर प्लेइंग क्रिकेट विद देम. व्हाट इज दिस? दे आर beheading Hindus and you are allowing them to play cricket with you. This is absolutely absurd and illogical. I cannot understand it. I think India should take decisive action against Bangladesh for the securities of Hindus. Okay. That is what the Samajwadi Party demands, and that is justified, and it should be done with immediate effect.
Fair enough. And you're absolutely okay with his comments both on Sambhal and on Babur's generals and the same DNA that Sharad Trivedi spoke of. I think that in places like Sambhal.
I think that is going to disturb the peace and harmony of the country, because there are 30,000 mosques that are under in the list, including Ajmer Sharif, where even the Honorable Prime Minister sends the chadar to Ajmer Sharif. If you are going to dig all the 30,000 mosques and create a survey, create a horrible situation in India, how India is going to be developed by 2047, which the Prime Minister dreams of? This is not the path. You can get some votes. You can get you can form some governments doing this. But if you see the future of the country, that will not be beneficial for our country. That is
Sharad Trivedi, you want to respond to this? Also, Asaduddin Owaisi of the AIMIM, he's saying that Yogi Adityanath talking about Babur and Bangladesh is absurd. How is the DNA of an invader and what's happening in Sambhal or what's happening in Bangladesh? How is Tino ki Prakriti ek? It's absurd, is what Asaduddin Owaisi says. But please respond to the comments where Samajwadi Party says, if you have it in you, take action against Bangladesh for killing Hindus.
You see, the government of India has been engaged with the government of Bangladesh. It's an independent country. We are trying our level best to calm the tempers there. We are trying to provide all legal help that is possible for the people who have been arrested. It's a volatile situation, but what we need is a nation of unity. We need a united nation behind us. The issue is that for Gaza, instantly the Yuva Neta gives a tweet. Instantly the entire ecosystem of the secularists that go in favor of what happened in Gaza, what happens in Lebanon. But the same people do not respond, just give a tweet. We are not asking you to invade Bangladesh. We are not even invading the force that went to Sambhal was not an invading force. It was a force sanctioned by law to execute an order of the court. But the issue is that this ecosystem which goes into overdrive, like my dear friend had just said, that unemployment is there and all other problems are there. Why are we going to rake up this issue? We did not rake up this issue at all. It was a court order. And the second thing is that if this matter is taken up that we are trying to rake up the issue, and it was the BJP who had done it, then Samajwadi Party was the party which had stopped the Shringar Gauri Puja in 93. They locked up the Vyas Taikhana. These are the people under pressure from their local MP Shafiqur Rahman Bark had stopped the Yajnapaveet ceremony in Sambhal. They stopped the Annaprashan ceremony in Sambhal. They stopped the marriages which were taking place in Sambhal. Why did they rake up this issue? It was a normal routine prayers which were taking place, but because they have got a vested interest in a particular vote bank. We are not saying that we are selective in our vote bank. We say the whole country, 140 crore people are our vote bank.
Okay.
We are not slicing up the people. They are our people. These are the people who come out with PDA. They come out with the slogan that secular versus communal. They are all the same. They are our people.
Okay, respond since it's a direct attack on the Samajwadi Party and its actions. The Samajwadi Party, the opposition parties are being accused of direct Muslim appeasement.
You know, Gaurav ji, you know, it's, Bangladesh, we all know the situation in Bangladesh, which is very horrific. What is Sheikh Hasina doing in India? Why is she being fed chicken and mutton biryani every day? What is she doing in India?
Okay, my question was very direct and specific on Sambhal, on Sambhal, on Kashi Vishwanath. These are issues that are internal, similar to our debate, sir.
Partially you are right. Definitely, I should stick to the topic. But the thing is, what Mr. Trivedi has just now said, when the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Honorable Prime Minister speaks about, आपका मंगलसूत्र छीन लेंगे, आपकी बहू बेटियों को उठा के ले जाएंगे, आपका घर तोड़ देंगे, आपकी कार ले जाएंगे, तो what is this? शमशान, कब्रिस्तान, ईद, दिवाली, 80-20 कपड़ों से पहचान लेते हैं. You just now said, Mr. Trivedi, that 143 crore citizens of India are your vote banks. But you cannot justify what the Honorable Prime Minister has been doing, what Mr. Giriraj Singh has been doing in Bihar, what Hemant Biswa Sarma has been doing in Jharkhand. Can you justify that? No, because that suits your politics. That is why you think we are not. But basic thing is, it's the failure of the Uttar Pradesh government. They should have been more alert. They should have read the situation and controlled it in a better way. It could have been done very amicably, which the Bharatiya Janata Party and the UP government led by Yogi Adityanath ji failed to do so.
Mr. Trivedi, you want to quickly respond to that point, sir?
I have already said that we are in there to execute a court order. It was neither the petitioner was Bharatiya Janata Party or the government of Uttar Pradesh, neither the people who went on the survey belonged to the Bharatiya Janata Party or the government of Uttar Pradesh. They were court-appointed commissioner who had to conduct the survey, and we were there to execute it. We had nothing to, no vested interest was being served out there. The trouble happens when these people were informed. They were not informed on 19th. There was no problem. The moment this information went there, the entire ecosystem got together. 22 truckloads of stones were brought by these masoom innocent people with one feeding bottle in one hand and stones in another hand. This ecosystem went into overdrive. The same people, they demand that the darja of Shaheed should be given to the people who died in Sambhal. But they never demanded that kind of darja for the Mishra who died in Bahraich, whose nails were pulled out. Nobody came out with this statement. And let me tell you that the etymology of the word Shaheed comes from the word Shahada, which is dying in the line of Islam in fight for jihad. And so we have been crying hoarse that this entire ecosystem is tuned to supporting the radical elements because of their entire politics is based on these people.
So that's a very grave charge. That's a very grave charge that you level at what is this ecosystem. And I want both, Mr. Vivek Silas and Saira Shah Halim to respond to this. And Saira, I want to, if you permit, add a point. Babar was an invader. Babar was an invader. His descendants, including Aurangzeb, ordered demolition of multiple temples in India, including Kashi Vishwanath and Sri Krishna Janmabhoomi at Mathura. The Hindus are saying they are approaching courts for justice. If they're approaching courts for justice, why should there then be mob action or riots if court orders are being pursued?
See, I'll be very clear. The very attempt to, usher in or to, use names like Babar or Aurangzeb is basically, a name calling for a certain community, because like we know that all empires in India were expansionist empires. Now, how will you justify what happened, say, in the 16th century or the 15th century and say, no, now this is retributive justice? It is highly, reprehensible if somebody is doing that. And this is nothing but a deliberate attempt to distract from the state government's absolutely abysmal failure in delivering public services, ensuring safety for all communities. Because here, whether it is Sambhal,
no, but are you saying that Hindus? Are you saying? I just want to understand from you before I bring in Shantanu Gupta.
Bangladesh, the
Are you trying to say that Hindus do not have a right to their places of worship at all? Whether, okay, Babur was an invader, Aurangzeb was a bigot, he was a despot, he ordered demolition of temples. Hindus did not get justice under Babur and Aurangzeb. They did not get justice under the British. Should they not get justice even in independent India? Is that the point you're making? Because for Hindus, Mathura has a religious significance. What significance does that mosque have for Muslims?
Is a serving UP trying to perpetuate violence on the religious minorities?
Why should there be violence?
I'm making it very clear.
Why should there be violence?
Invoking the name of Babur and Aurangzeb, is he trying to invoke violence against, India's own minorities? I'm sorry to say, it is a democratically elected government. And where all citizens are given equal right, let us not compare our situation with Bangladesh or any other country. That is the reason the minorities of the country chose to stay back in India. They would have chosen any other land, Bangladesh or Pakistan or any other thing. Othering your own citizenry, I think, is the gravest of sins. And I think whoever, whether it is Yogi Adityanath or anybody else, needs to understand that inciting divisions or playing identity politics is going to lead to a very, very, tragic situation, because the idea is to unite communities and not just,
Shantanu Gupta wants to come in. Shantanu Gupta wants to come in.
Hostility.
Shantanu Gupta, if Yogi Adityanath were to talk about, Babur, it is pointing a finger at Indian Muslims, is Saira Shah Halim's point.
Of course it is. Without a shadow of doubt.
I'm very surprised. Saira ji said Babur, Aurangzeb, they happened in 15th, 16th century. Why they invoked their name? I think she's perfectly right. What the Muslims of that time did has nothing to do with the Muslims of today. But my problem is when Saira finds a hero in Babur. When Saira finds a hero in Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb wrote, please, don't behave like Babur now. Don't behave like Babur now. It's my turn, I did not speak over you. Don't become a Babur now.
One by one.
See, a street called Aurangzeb Road had to exist in New Delhi, on face of it. Where he cut Sheesh Mahal Gurudwara, where he's chopping heads off Sikh gurus and Hindu gurus like left and right. Gaurav, in Europe, in more than 18 countries, denying Holocaust is a crime. Even if you tweet that Holocaust did not happen, in India you can say, nothing happened. And Saira Sen saying they ran away. You should read text. You read the book, Hindu temples, what happened to them. It's a detailed documentation of 1800 temples, how they were broken. Detail by detail. Just leave your own text. Read Babur Nama. Read what the Darbaris of Aurangzeb, Darbaris of Akbar have written. So these are valid texts. Hindus cannot reclaim, and under the law, they are not even doing. They're just going to the court. They're producing documents. They're producing documents, and that too, Gaurav. It was an ASI monument. It was an ASI monument. ASI is trying to reclaim its monument. It's saying, okay, हमारे कब्जा वापस दे दो.
Population is classified as poor.
That's all.
Okay.
And survey नहीं होने देंगे. Survey नहीं होने देंगे. अंदर तो मूर्ति मिल जाएगी. So that's why they come.
Sharat Trivedi has his hand up. Vivek Salas has his hand up. So one by one, Vivek, quickly go first. You wanted to respond to Saira saying, if you talk about Babur and Aurangzeb, Muslims today feel offended. But why should Muslims today, or should Muslims today, identify with invaders like Babur or despots like Aurangzeb?
I think I agree with Shantanu Gupta for the first time that what the Muslims did about 500 years back, today's Muslims have nothing to do with that. That is a history that has been passed.
But if you see, don't find heroes in them. Babri Masjid ka case
who has said that he was? Did I say, or did she say that he was a hero? No.
Babri Masjid ka case
he was an invader and believe that. But they settled in India. They settled in India. We cannot go in a time lapse back and change the history. That cannot be done. That cannot be done. We cannot travel in time backwards and change the history. It cannot be done. But my question to Mr. Trivedi is, just now he said that 22 trucks of, stones came for pelting. What was your police doing? What was the DM doing? What was the SP doing? What was the commissioner doing? What was the government doing? How did 22 trucks of stones come and you are not aware about that? How pathetic and shameful. And I was debating on some other channel, they were saying that weapons from Pakistan and bullets from Pakistan came. And your government is sleeping. What are you doing?
Okay, Mr. Trivedi, you want to quickly respond to that? Because there are Muslim leaders who also say that their shrines, their mosque, the style of worship, it's all in the line of fire. And they're saying, fine, this government says appeasement of none. Don't appease, but don't target either. Respond to both the points if you'd like to, sir.
Gaurav, I would just catch the bull by the horns. My friend Shantanu has raised one topic. I'll come to that later. But Hindus are burning the effigy of Ravan for thousands of years. Do we mean that we hate ourselves? All Hindus hate themselves because they burned the effigy of Ravan.
Ravan was a devil.
The crime that was committed in the past, we are just trying to...
Please, he was in Treta Yuga.
So, one by one.
Vivek, please let me complete. I don't heckle. Please let me complete. My dear friend. One thing that I want to say is that this is the time all over the world to apologize. The Queen Elizabeth had come to Jallianwala Bagh. She didn't apologize, but she expressed regret. The Germans have paid billions of dollars to the Israelis for the crimes committed against Jews 70 years back. The crime committed with the comfort women by in Korea by the Japanese forces, they are paying it, and the Prime Minister has apologized for it. The King of Japan has apologized for it. It is the time that we heal the wounds. It's a latent wound that continues for thousands, about 500 years. Babur, we have got a very important feature in our legal system that confessional statement in the criminal case is the most important factor. Now we have got Babur himself confessing that in 4 years of the time that he spent in India, he died in 30, he came in 26, he died in 30, he destroyed 3 of our temples. He has confessed it. Aine-Akbari, page 285, volume 2, Babur has said that he has demolished, as my friend Shantanu has said, the temple in Panipat, the temple in Ayodhya, and the temple in Sambhal. They need to say sorry. They need to come out with it. Yes, there's something wrong had happened. We want to hand it over.
Okay.
And now they come out with a strange argument.
On the behalf of Babur. On behalf of Babur, who's going to say sorry?
Okay,
please
we will go and fight we will
you
contest
don't
a case
stand with Babur.
save the Babur.
We are not standing with Babur. We are standing with our esteemed country. And we are worried about Bangladeshi Hindus.
But we are not sorry in the name of Babur. We are seeing the double standard. We will save the Babri Masjid. We'll go to the court. Mulayam Singh Yadav will shoot to save Muslims.
Don't tell me. Even Durga Baks was shot in Bihar. What do you have to say about that?
Apologies in the name of
I've run out of time on the show today, but this is a story, and the comments of the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister and the reactions that are coming in, they will continue to ignite multiple lines of debates that we will track in the days and weeks ahead.